Dynasty risers from week 1. It's time for some positivity, Chris. Now, we still have the fallers coming, so we're going to go right back to the negative here in just a second. But 5 guys who I will get my rankings completely updated for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end by the end of the week, and we'll have those on the site. There also will be an updated Dynasty trade chart, both for Superflex and 1 QB leagues on Sportsline this year, getting updated every single week. So no more waiting a month to see the new trade chart. You'll have trade charts for both formats this week, hopefully by Wednesday night if I meet my deadline. Here's 5 guys that I know already are moving up. One of them is a little bit of confirmation bias, but Tua, we both talked about this, Chris. If he could just stay healthy, he might be an elite fantasy quarterback. He's moved from QB 12 to QB 10. I don't think he's done rising yet.
I mean, someone said this to me on Twitter yesterday, and I don't agree with it, but, he was a Chiefs fan, and he said, I'm a Chiefs fan, and when I watch the Dolphins play, I'm like, how did the Chiefs not get this out of Tyreek Hill? I'm like, Tyreek Hill was awesome with the Chiefs. I don't want it, but, all that talk about 2,000 yards, it's not totally impossible with the way they run their offense. I grew up a Dolphins fan, and the way I describe it is it's like a phantom limb. You know, like when somebody loses their arm, but they still feel it? That's how Dolphins fandom is for me. I'm not emotionally invested in the Dolphins at all, but it's still there. And I never thought I would like watching the Dolphins play offense. It's just never been a thing. I love watching the way this team plays. Tua Tagovailoa, we get our jokes off when he underthrows some of those deep balls, but man, he is operating at such a high level in this offense. He might just lead the league in passing if he stays healthy. He might lead the league in passing touchdowns. This offense is absurd. And again, the only team that slowed them down when he was healthy last year was the Chargers, and he just destroyed them. So, yeah, there are no performance concerns for Tua Tagovailoa at this point for me. It's just, can he stay on the field?
It will be interesting to see if Belichick has anything that he can cook up and maybe show to the rest of the league. That's who they play this week. The guy I have him one spot behind is Justin Herbert. And I have a process where it's what I expect this year, what I think their upside is, what their age is, and then what their risk is. The only area where I prefer Justin Herbert right now is risk. He's a much, much safer QB1 for the future. But I think Tua has more upside. And I'd rather have Tua this year.
The Chargers offense didn't transform in the passing game as much as we thought. And look, that could be just when Austin Eckler's there, you're going to throw a lot of dump-offs, right? That's just always going to be a big part of the offense. But it wasn't, this super downfield-oriented passing attack. I think his average intended air yards was up to 7.2, which was up, but still lower than his first 2 seasons. I still think Justin Herbert's likely to be a borderline elite fantasy quarterback this year. But, yeah, the way you said that, you only feel better about Herbert in terms of risk. I think that's reasonable at this point.
That's fantastic. Okay, we've got a running back, Javonte Williams. We already mentioned Breece Hall and how good he looked. Javonte didn't look as good as Breece Hall, but he was very involved. And the Sean Payton throw the ball to your running back before anything else completely came with him, just like Marquez Callaway and Little Jordan Humphrey and Adam Troutman and others. Huge target. Javonte Williams led this team in targets. One of the punchlines of the first year of this podcast has been, well, we all had Javonte Williams, the top 5 dynasty running back a year ago, and now he's down to RB20. He's back up inside my top 15 running backs, and I could absolutely see a path, if he played that much in week 1 coming off the ACL, to where he's back inside the top 10 pretty quick.
Yeah, the only problem there would be, is he ever going to be a 65% snap share guy in this offense? That's another thing that Sean Payton did in New Orleans, was very often it was always 2 running backs, and it was never one guy playing 70% of the snaps. So I don't know if there's a ton of room to grow in terms of the playing time. He already played 29 snaps in